Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Regina with Live Your Best Life Coaching, and I am so honored that you have chosen to be with me today as we continue our study on how to listen. This study is taken from a book that I've been reading. It's How to Listen So That People Will Talk. For years I thought, I listen well. That wasn't always the case, though. It wasn't that my intentions of listening well weren't good. It was that I didn't know how to listen well. So, we are always improving and improving. And I'm proud to say that today I'm a better listener than I was years ago. But I'm also not too prideful to say that my listening still has a lot to be desired. But, I'm working on it. And the Bible has a lot to tell us about listening and listening well. And that's why we are doing this study. Whether you're in business, in ministry, or just want to strengthen your personal relationships with family and friends, then listening well is something that we need to do. Hi, Susan. Thank you for joining with me today. So, as we begin to go into our study, let's do what we did a few weeks ago and let's massage our ears. Let's get them ready to listen well. Again, what this does, just gently tugging and massaging. Again, what this does is this opens us up in order to gain better understanding. It's a known practice. It is something that I do quite often, and I can testify that I've really gained a better understanding in whatever it is that I am listening to, whether it's a teaching, my family, my friends, whatever it may be. So if you haven't already, take those few moments and just massage your ears all around so we can open you up for that understanding. And it also grounds you. It synergizes your energy because we are all made of energy. So the title of today's lesson is Be Quick to Listen and Slow to Fix. Be quick to listen and slow to fix. Now, I am the first to say, I was Miss Fix-It, and I wore that title proudly. I thought that was my job. It's not. I'm not called to fix anyone. And we'll discover why it is that we're not called to fix anyone as we move through this. All too often, we're quick to fix and we're slow to listen. And, that's getting things all backwards, all messed up. But in the book of James, we're warned to be quick to listen. Quick to listen. So I want to give you, right here from the bat, 5 reasons for us to slow down and to listen before we dive into fixing someone. And as I start to move into this, I just want to say, in scrolling through Facebook this morning, checking in on friends and seeing how they're doing, I noticed one of my friends, commented. So many people are right there and ready to tell me what I need to do, to give advice on what I need to do. But they're forgetting some very important aspects in my life. And, so while I'm taking your advice, what am I supposed to do about A, B, C, and D? And that just touched my heart, and it tied in so well with today's lesson. So number 1 of the 5 great reasons to slow down and listen is you have enough to worry about in your own life. You have enough to worry about in your own life. All of us have circumstances or problems or things that are going on, and I'm guessing you're like me and you have plenty. There's plenty there for you to focus on without making someone else your total focus and offering that unsolicited advice. Being quick to solve another's problem can be a great way to run from your own problems. Being quick to solve another's problem can be a great way to run from your own problems. So instead, why not shift your focus? Focus from your inner fixer on your own difficulties and your listening ears on another. Because honestly, I believe the number one human desire, whether you're male, whether you're female, or anything in between with today's guidelines there, we all have an innate desire to be heard. It's not that we crave another's advice. It's not that we don't know what steps we need to take. It's that we need to get these things out of our head. And often the way we do that is just by speaking to a friend, speaking to a minister, speaking to a therapist, whoever it may be. We just need to be heard to get those thoughts outside of our own mind so that they're not continuously torturing us. So most of the times, if your friends come to you, they just want someone who's going to be willing to listen and to confirm that what they're experiencing is indeed very difficult. Number 2, your information might be incomplete. So if you're rushing to fix someone and you don't have all of the foundation, all of the background information, then you're wasting your breath. You're bringing condemnation on those that you are speaking to, and you come across as judgmental. So no matter what the situation is, it's impossible to know every detail of the problem that the person is facing. And for that reason, your quick solution would be incomplete. So when you slow down and you listen attentively, you can draw out more information about the circumstance or the problem that your friend or loved one, client, is experiencing. So I want you to listen for a moment to this example, because I really want to drive this one home, because this is a very important one. In this example, Veronica received incomplete advice about her weight from several well-meaning friends at the church she attended. Veronica's well-meaning friends noticed that she had gained some weight. In an effort to fix her problem, they began suggesting diets and exercise programs and all manner of supplements. But the only problem that they didn't understand was the issues, because they hadn't spent time listening. Veronica's weight gain wasn't due to not taking care of herself. It wasn't from lack of exercise or eating the wrong foods. The reason she was gaining weight was because she had started a new medication that she was required to use for cancer treatments. It had nothing to do with her eating habits, and only her doctor had the complete history and was able to help Veronica develop a weight management plan. So after listening to Veronica's story, I would like to suggest that we each worry about our own weight and skip giving other people unsolicited advice about theirs. Unless you're a doctor or a personal trainer, zip it and simply listen. Listen, because, look at this case in Veronica's story. She had something so much deeper going on. And I can totally relate to that in the sense of having been diagnosed with cancer. She is fighting for her life, and her well-meaning friends are worried about her weight. Now, don't misunderstand. Yes, our weight can and does oftentimes make things harder for us in life. It does can make us very unhealthy. But we don't always have control over that weight gain. Sometimes things such as medication will cause weight gain. Sometimes certain illnesses, be it a thyroid problem or whatnot, causes this unwanted weight gain. And all of the diets in the world will do nothing to correct that. That's a plan for their doctors. Now, as I mentioned earlier, and this is number 3, when you give this unsolicited advice and you're not listening well, then you come across as judgmental or condescending. And Jesus' words were clear to us when he says, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged by the same measure that you judge." We find that in Matthew chapter 7, verse 1. So unsolicited advice usually implies a person is doing something wrong and needs to be corrected. Wow. Have you ever thought about that? Here you think you're helping your friend, and in a sense you're saying, "You're doing it all wrong. Here, this is how you need to do it." They're probably already depressed, low self-esteem, torn down, and this unsolicited advice makes them feel that you're judging them, you're condescending them, and you absolutely are not hearing them at all. So, again, when we dish out unsolicited advice, we're judging the other person's ability to solve his or her own problem. And as a result, we come off as condescending. I don't like to feel like somebody's patronizing me. Do you? I don't think so. So the truth is that I've come across that way to others when I've told them how to handle their problems. And I've done that before. And to those of you that I've done it to, please accept my sincerest apologies. I didn't know what I didn't know. And at the time, I didn't know I wasn't listening well. It is my desire. Even today, I've come a long way from where I was, but I have a long way to go. I have a long way to go. I want to hear you, and I want to hear you well. Number 4, you'll be guilty of demeaning the person receiving your advice. You'll be guilty of demeaning the person receiving your advice. Most of our problems are complicated, and rarely they require one solution. If you think you can solve someone else's problem in just a few minutes, you're implying that the other person is an idiot. Have you ever thought about that? Would you ever want to call your mom, your sister, your brother, your best friend, your client, an idiot? Dale Carnegie wrote that the greatest urge in the world is the desire to feel important. We all want to feel significant rather than demeaning someone with your advice. So why not bolster their confidence by assuring them that no one is more equipped to solve their own problem than they are? You see, the answers lie right there within us already. And that's because you have Jesus right there in your heart. You've accepted him. You've made him the king on the throne of your heart. You've stepped down as the ruler, and you've made him the king on the throne of your heart. And he has all the answers. There's nothing I or anyone else can tell you, because we're going to be wrong. We don't have the big picture. We don't have the whole story, but Jesus does. So again, rather than demeaning someone with your own advice, encourage them, bolster their confidence, and remind them that the answer already lies within them. And this, number 5, might be my favorite of all of them. You're not God. I'm not God. This is the most profound reason I can think of to slow down and not offer a quick fix to someone's problem. That was the problem with Job's friends. Think about that. Remember the story of Job? He was this wealthy man. He had this large family. And, Satan comes to God and he goes, he's got all this because you bless him so much. Well, he would speak against you if he had hard times in life. And God allowed Satan to buffer. He told him that he could not kill him, but he could buffer him. And Job lost everything. His children, his wealth, his wife is in his ear. Just curse God and be done with it. His friends are there. Man, what sin do you have going on in your life? What have you done wrong? He was blessing you so much, and now look. In the throes of his grief, Job said, "The Lord gives and the Lord takes away." And many times, that's where preachers and teachers stop. That's their answer. The Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Read on down a few chapters, and you find that Job repented for making that statement. He repented because he realized, yes, God gives. God doesn't take away from us. He receives. When we lose loved ones or we lose things that are near and dear to our hearts, God's received them. He's not taken them. Jesus tells us in John 10:10 that the enemy comes only to steal and kill and destroy. He lays it very plainly what the enemy's plans are and who is doing the taking. But Jesus said, "I came that they may have life and life more abundant." He gives, and he receives. When we surrender, he receives what we surrender to him. You see, Job's friends were all there, ready and willing, they thought, to encourage. In fact, they were very demeaning towards him. They basically called him an idiot. And they did not decrease any of his suffering with their words. Instead, they increased. By making him feel judged, they increased his suffering. So while your motives may be very pure, you love the person, you hate to see them in pain, unsolicited advice actually hurts them more than it helps them. And I get it. I get it. And I have to watch myself with this sometimes, often, especially where my children are concerned. Because what mother wants to see her children hurting? But often, no, not often, 99.9% of the time, all my children need are for me to zip my lips and hear what they're saying. Because the answer lies within them, not within me, within them. I'm not God. I'm not God. My role as a mother is to hear them well, to hear them well. It's my role as a life coach is to hear you well and to encourage you. The answer lies within you. You know what you need to do. Sure, we can work on strategies together. That's what we're here for. But you hold the answer. My role as a life coach is simply to help you look within yourself and pull those answers out, because they're there. Now you're probably wondering, what about the person that I'm mentoring or discipling? Aren't I supposed to give them instruction and advice? Go slowly. Go very slowly. Hear them. Hear them. Hear them well. Listen well. Remember, whether you're a life coach, a minister, whatever you may be, you don't hold all the answers. So your role in discipling them is to help them uncover where the answer is within them. So when you're tempted to fix, shift your focus. Focus on the golden rule. When you're listening to someone who's sharing a problem with you or complaining about the situation that they're facing, listen to them in the way that you would desire someone to listen to you. It's the golden rule of listening. Luke chapter 6, verse 31. So rather than asserting yourself as the one with the answer, position yourself as a friend who is seeking to understand. Focus on offering dignity and honor rather than calling them an idiot. All of us struggle with one form or another of insecurity. Many of us feel like failures. So the last thing that a person needs for you to do is to have you validate those insecurities, those failures in their life by dumping a ton of advice on them. Instead, dignify them by agreeing that the situation they're facing is tough and encouraging them that the answer is there within them. Focus on listening to find feelings. Instead of trying to come up with a solution, shift your focus to listening for their feelings. How does it make them feel? Does it make them feel torn down, worried, afraid? Ask yourself, how is this difficulty impacting the other person's life? Is it leaving the person exhausted, depressed, or simply paralyzed? And then ask specifically, what can I do?
Your brother's on the phone.
Sorry about that. My brother's calling. I want to finish this up. I will call him back. So focus on asking a question or a few questions, such as, where do you see God in this problem? Listen to their answer. Is God speaking anything to you? Give them an opportunity to answer these questions. Listen. And what do you think you might do? In doing this, you're not giving them advice, but you're helping them to find the answers that are already lying within them. These are important steps. I encourage you, go back, listen to them again and again and again. Listen to this video again. And each time, take away something. Make notes. Transcribe it if you must. But what we're learning today is to listen and listen well. Because that's truly showing love to our family, our friends, our clients, congregations. Being good listeners. It's the reason God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. To listen and listen well. So thank you so much for being with me. Listen. I'm telling you to listen again. Listen, though, seriously. I'm here. I am here to listen, to practice listening and listening well. You don't have to go through struggles alone. I'm here. I encourage you today. The answers are within you. They're there. Sometimes you just need to get out of your own head. And one way, and I'm not trying to offer unsolicited advice, but I'm going to testify to you. One way that I do that is by speaking it. Just get it out of my head and say it. Get it done and over with. I bounce things off my husband all the time, my father, my mother, my partner. I do this all the time. And they're very good listeners. They allow me to say what's on my mind so that my mind stops building stories around it. And that's what I want to do for you. I want to encourage you. I want to speak life into you when I speak. But more than that, I want to hear you. I want to hear you. So thank you for being with me. Contact me today. Share this video with your family and friends to encourage them to be better listeners. Until next time, God bless you, my friends. Have a wonderful week.